Thank you very much for staying with us. All right. Emeka Anyaoku, he's the leader of the Patriots, has urged President Bola Tinubu to initiate a process for a new people-centric constitution. Well, the group advocates for a national constituent assembly to draft a new constitution and is pressing President Bola Tinubu to send an executive bill to the National Assembly. While President Tinubu has promised to consider their request after his economic reforms, Mr. Anyaoku emphasizes the need to prioritize constitutional reforms for a brighter Nigerian future. That's what we'll be spending some time to discuss right now. Joining us in the studio, columnist Samuel Masheye. We also have Professor Anthony Killer. He is the director at the Center of International Advanced and Professional Studies. Gentlemen, it's good to see you again. Super Sam and Prof, you're both welcome. Let's begin with you. Of course, you head the advocacy subcommittee under the Patriots, and there's been a lot of talk coming out from this organization, the Patriots, that is, defending the need or the calls yet again for a new constitution. Help us to explain why this is so needed now amidst all other concerns in the country right now.
Well, you say needed now. I think we need to start by saying that it's something that is overdue. It's not a new call by the Patriots or by Nigerians, men and women of goodwill who understand the need to have a framework, a working document that regulates our relationship, understands the need for a good constitution. Why do we need it now and even before? Let us say for 3 reasons. Number one is symbolic and procedural. The other one is functionality. The third one is for aspiration. In terms of symbolic and procedural, we have a constitution that is a fruit of a military decree. It doesn't sound well for a country that wants to be democratic to be managed based on a military decree. That is one. Number two is that the constitution itself opens by saying we the people. Well, the first 3 words in that constitution is false. If you equiparate the constitution to what the Bible is for the Christians or what the Quran is for the Muslims or what the Corpus of Ifa is for those who worship that religion, you cannot start a life by something that is false. Chances are things will go wrong. So what we're saying is that let us correct that. In terms of the process as well, as I repeat, the current constitution is a fruit of a military decree. Perhaps it would be good if we can actually get the people to come together to say this is the way we want to live together. That, I think, is a good thing. In terms of functionality, I think most people will agree that so far not so great with the current constitution. So perhaps if we change it and make simpler and direct. Those are the 2 adjectives, simpler and direct, the real things that we want in our lives through a constitution. It might help us to have better governance, better relationships with ourselves. Then in terms of aspiration, as I say, that's the 3rd leg. I think viewers, and I want viewers to follow me on this, you'll all agree with me that because of the way human beings are, humanity in general, a fresh start is always a good thing. That is why we celebrate Happy New Year, Happy Birthday, even Happy New Month that people celebrate. And on Sundays, we are told this new week. A chance to reset our life, to say, let's get together, let's rearrange the way we want to live together, let's talk about the duties and limits of government, let's talk about what kind of country we want to be. I believe the day after that, we will feel, wow, this is the new Nigeria. And this is my personal view, and if we are able to do a succinct, short constitution with not more than 20-25 rules that everybody can fully understand and remember, the day after that constitution, the Nigeria that will come out will be a Nigeria in which a lot of people, if not everybody, most people, will know their roles, their right, and their responsibility. And if anybody, from the president to the governor to the policeman on the road, violates that constitution, there'll be a feeling of, no, that's what we agree. That's not what we agreed. Let's do it the right way. So to that extent, I think a new constitution is a good thing for us.
All right, let's also get opening remarks from Samuel Masheye here. To what extent do you agree with Prof's, assertions in line with this call for a new constitution?
An author once said that the best joy is always in the beginning.
The beginning.
It's good to have a new constitution. But I think the best constitution is the constitution of the people. What I mean is not the document, but the constitution of their psychosocial being. We have had a lot of constitutions in the life, either pre-independence, post-independence. It's like a search. We are looking for the document, you know? And we should not make the mistake of thinking that the document is the answer. The answer is us. I remember when I was giving a talk at the University of Ibadan some years ago, when there was this firestorm of debate over federalism and all of that, and not federalism, restructuring.
Restructuring.
Yes.
Restructuring.
And a student asked, said, so if we now restructure the country, does that mean all our problems have come to an end? That was a very good question. Because the problem with this country is not so much restructuring of our constitution, but the restructuring of ourselves. Remember, for instance, we have the Bible, the Old Testament, and you have the New Testament. And Jesus Christ says, I come not to condemn the law, but to fulfill it. And it starts in Matthew chapter 5, and it starts breaking down the old law. And it says that the law is okay. Yeah. So what is the difference between Old Testament and New Testament? The Old Testament has become the New Testament in the Spirit. What is the Spirit? It's in the heart. That's why Paul says, I don't want to turn this into a theological thing. Paul says that on circumcision, he said, neither circumcision nor circumcision availeth. He said, but circumcise the foreskins of your heart. Have we circumcised the foreskins of our heart? If we come today, as the Patriots have said, let's have a new constitution. It's very interesting that you say, okay, we want to have a new constitution. Are we ready for the new constitution? Even the ones, the clauses that were clear in this constitution we have here turned out to be contentious during the election. Because it is language, what they call the sweet ambiguity of legalese. That is what we have. The language, you know, the language can say, I go, and I go can mean, where are you going from? It could be, I go from here to there, or I go from there to here. The language itself has become open-ended. That's the nature of constitution. So that's why I said that there are three models of constitutions that we can look at. We can look at the American model, we can look at the British model, and then we can look at the French model. In the case of the French, they have 5 constitutions. They are even calling for the 6th constitution because they are very contentious people. You know, we had the yellow vests who were fighting the other day. They are very contentious people. They keep De Gaulle. De Gaulle created big trouble before he created the 5th constitution. It was big trouble. Collapse everywhere, arrests, imprisonments, and so on. Then you have the British, who don't have a written or what they call codified constitution. And yet, they have lived with it. You don't have a book like this and say, this is the British constitution. You don't have it. But they are there. They have uncodified constitution. The Americans, they have one constitution which they wrote over 250 years ago. Yeah. It is called a codified one, but it's rigid constitution. Right. But what they say that we will make it up as we go along. So what happened is that they've had 27 amendments. Yeah. This is because all of these are happening because the people are happy to live with the document. The question, are we ready for a constitution? If we are not ready for the constitution will never be ready for us. All
right. And, you know, that is also being reflected by, you know, other Nigerians, some other Nigerians who are speaking about even if we have a new constitution, are we going to, you know, have to celebrate an end to, you know, hunger, the problems in the land, and, you know, this issue about the mind restructuring that should be what we should all...
the mind restructuring that someone speaks better than most of those who oppose the constitution. He's more sophisticated. It's a tougher one for me to handle. But let's touch on the author. There's another author that says, I'm searching for true love, and I'll keep searching till I find.
Yeah.
So we'll keep searching till we get the right
constitution.
Bongo Zikwe. So we said we'll keep searching till we find the right constitution. Let's go to the Bible. It is important to say that when you say Jesus Christ claims to fulfill the law, he also brought another law. Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. That is a summary of all the laws, he says. And that is a new law. He gave a new constitution. So you see, I go back to your author now. It's a joy. The new start is always a joy. I'm happy that those who say no to the constitution do not say it's a debilitating or is a risky proposal. We should celebrate that. We're not starting from zero, because there's a lot of proposals that people say, don't do it because it will cause trouble in the country. Nobody's saying this will cause trouble in the country. What they're saying is that perhaps it is not possible to achieve it, perhaps it is not enough, perhaps it is not necessary, but it's not causing any harm. I believe, and this is the point, I understand and I agree that we need to restructure our minds and improve our attitude. But there's one thing. People who say that tend to put the weight of the balance on just one side. The behavior of man, individuals and collectivity, is a fruit of experience, character, aspirations, but also the environment, the system in which you operate. These same Nigerians, of whose mind we want to restructure, when they leave these shores, like Samuel has just come back, when they leave...
Just come back.
Well, it's not a year ago, just a few weeks ago. Like these same Nigerians, when they leave the shore of Nigeria, and you as well, I heard. So these same Nigerians, when they leave the shore of Nigeria, they behave well elsewhere. They queue, they do the right things. You know why? It's not because of the water or the milk they drink. It's because of the laws that guide that place. Whether it's written, whether it's coded or not, it is because there is a framework that ensures that nobody easily does what is wrong, that understands the people. So that is what we're saying. Let us give a chance to look at it. The issue of restructuring that he said, restructuring might not solve all our problems, but I believe that a good constitution will also lead to good governance. As long as we're able to be very realistic, creative, and indeed, allow me to use a simple word, intelligent, the essence of Homo sapiens, to learn from our past, manage our present in view of the future we desire. We have learned from 1914, 1960, 1963, 1979, 1999 to today what is wrong and what is right with us. If we have a chance to rewrite it and the constitutions afford that stance, I believe we would write it in a way that will take cognizance of our past errors and our aspirations of the future.
Right. And the issue of we the people has always been controversial, which is also one of the standpoints of the Patriots. I wanted to also speak to that.
To start with, I want to correct the impression that love your neighbor, love was a new law in the New Testament. Yeah. It was in the 10 Commandments. It said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, Paul even said, he said, esteem your neighbors greater than yourself. Yeah. It's just an elaboration. The sense of volitional.
It's a summary of the whole thing.
Yeah, it just says, this is the law. Yes, the law is comprehended in this.
Indeed.
Love thy neighbor. And in the 1 Corinthians 13, it just says that
the Patriots must be like Christ.
If you do that and you have no charity, you are nothing.
Exactly.
Charity never fails.
Never fails.
It's not about the Old Testament. Love is actually the spirit of the Old Testament.
And that is exactly what we're trying to do. So we bring it to 4. We bring a summary. The Patriots are not starting from zero. We advocate for the recognition of all the past effort. 1999 Comfort Report, 1963 Constitution,
right.
Bring it together and summarize it.
Good point.
And add a few things. And like Christ, make it simple.
Make it simple. But we have to be simple first. Now the point though is, I wanted to make is, there's a novel which I think readers should go and read that book. Yes. Oran Pamo. Today is actually the anniversary of that novel. It was published August 29, 2008. It's titled The Museum of Innocence, in which this wealthy man falls in love with a low-class person, and they won't allow him to marry her. And then anytime he goes to the house, he picks something as a memento. He steals them. A spoon today, a chair today, It is, and they packs them after all is done and the whole thing is over. They push them somewhere as a museum of dedicated to that love.
Yes.
That is what we have done.
Yes.
We have had. If we go to our archives, it's a museum of all the solutions, of all our love that has been lost.
I agree with
of our love. We have, whether it's a willing commission, whether it's on education by Babs Fafunwa, whether it is on what do they call it?
On the structure of the country.
Structuring, whether it is on borders, everything
even
we have
they're
all on the archive. They're all in the archives. The point is, why don't we just dust them off? You know what? Our solution is buried in dust. Yes.
And that is what the Patriots will offer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is what we advocate for.
Another leg of what Prof said was, this
idea of the military.
The idea of the military, that promulgated the Constitution, which is still a grouse that we are living with, we the people. And then he also mentioned that Prof also spoke about how we behave abroad, how Nigerians behave abroad. Is it about the love that is absent, the love that you both have been, stressing so far, that is absent in the mind of the common Nigerian, of the average Nigerian?
The issue of the military, as you said, is symbolic. But the military didn't write it.
They promulgated it.
They just said, you civilians, go and write it, and then we'll say, Abdul Salam was not a lawyer.
Tamashe, you have a new book out.
Yes.
You did not print it.
Yes.
You wrote it. But the person selling it is your book anyway. Because that book came out in your name.
In my name.
Anything in that book, the box top in your table.
Because that is what I want
and same for the Constitution.
Exactly. That's what the Constitution is.
You know what? This is what in media is called selective perception. You decide to see the man who
that was it.
So if somebody brings a plate of food to me,
yes,
I'm your guest.
Yes.
And your server brings it to me.
Yes.
Will I say it is not from you?
You will not taste it. But when you go into the restaurant, you don't mention the chef. You mention the restaurant.
It is
the restaurant that
the restaurant. Yes, the restaurant. You mention the restaurant because you want to see the restaurant. I want to see the food.
Otherwise, you say it's Shade.
I'm only interested in the food.
Of Femi that cooked it.
Right.
Because it's not the restaurant that will nourish me. It is the food that will nourish me.
Absolutely. But then, Sam, I still want you to talk about this issue. What is wrong with us as a people? Really?
Yes.
Why do we go abroad?
You see,
behave, but we have our laws. They are good. They are only good on paper. Well, arguably.
Musician said, Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter. Nigerians do well abroad because of the values of the environment in which they find themselves. I always say it when I go abroad that, if you go to Europe is a very Judeo-Christian society that neither goes to church nor prays.
Not acting that way.
And everybody there wants to obey the law. And I said that if God is going to judge people, we will carry Bible all the day. And they go look at the attitude of those in Europe who cannot quote Genesis. But there's a French writer now who says that part of the problem with Europe now is the loneliness, the lack of
partialization of humanity.
Yes, it's because they have abandoned their Judeo-Christian roots. There's this French writer, I've forgotten his name now, who's making that point that they are trying to reject where they came from.
And
so it's important. That means that documents are important.
Yes.
John Adams, he called America, said, we're a nation of laws and not of men. But
one of the Federalists, by the way.
Yes, the Federalist paper. Yeah, but the men make the laws. And we cannot run from men making the laws. The military endorsed the law. But the military that endorsed the law knew next to nothing about the law they were endorsing. It was the civilians that did it. But I those days when they came with no-go areas during the time of Babangida and all of that. But this one was not about no-go areas.
But I think there's another slant to the question you asked. Why do Nigerians behave differently?
Right.
Part of the reason is that Nigerians are alien to Nigeria, and Nigeria itself are aliens to most Nigerians. The definition of I am a Nigerian is a shallow, superficial cover of who we are as different nationalities. That alienation, that saying I'm just Nigerian is a word where nobody actually feels it, because deep down we are Ijo, Urobo, Yoruba, not Nigeria. Nigeria is just a veneer on our thing. It gives us a sense of not holding tight to the values of Nigeria. That is on one side. The other part is that we have created a society where, generally speaking, there is no proof that it is good to be good. We're still in that sort of Hobbesian, chaotic world where it's better to just grab what you can. Our lives is symbolized on the road. Break the rule of the road, you get there on time. I stand there obeying it, and everybody's overtaking me. And they even tell me to move, and I'm trying to say the light is red. Because we have not understood yet very clearly that it is good to be good, and by being a good Nigerian benefits us.
And don't you think that's a threat, or in your ambition as,
yes.
I mean the ambition of the Patriots?
Yes.
Regarding the new constitution, isn't that a threat?
No, I think it's a good thing. I think what we're advocating for will allow us to deal with that issue. You see, we believe, for example, and here we get to the content of what we would like to see. We believe that Nigeria is a union of nations, and we should understand our diversity and let the constitution guarantee legality and embrace of diversity. So far, over the decades, with old men like Samuel Sheye, what they've done with our life is to try to make us Nigerian rather than accepting that we're different people. So what we've done in Nigeria so far is to say, for example, bring boys and girls in a classroom and say, no, there is no gender difference. They're students. Of course there's gender difference. We don't have to be worried or afraid that our language and our mode of praying differs. We need to embrace it. I've said elsewhere, let me repeat that. Very personally, I think the Nigeria of the future that we need to look is the Nigeria that embraces our diversity, so that when we look at our map, we should be seeing flavors of skills and talents, or even palate. We should imagine that, oh, if I go to this place, I get pepper soup. If I go here, I get a goosey. That is Nigeria, a great country that is diverse. And this our diversity, I argue, should be recognized and treated like an asset, not repressed under the name of trying to be Nigerian.
Right, and
and that's a good point you have
right.
made. And the point of a disconnect between the citizen and the citizenry.
Yes.
That's it. There's a connect between the citizen and citizenry. And what I mean is that we do not embrace the Nigerian project. We embrace our families, we embrace our tribes, we embrace our groups, and we do what the French author Jean-Paul Sartre says, hell is other people.
Other people.
Yes.
We are always
we are
heaven.
We're
always heaven.
So
yes.
there's a tribalism. The tribalism not just in terms of tribe, but also in what they call it, in religion,
yes.
in groups.
In groups as well.
When families come together, there's those people and
we
people,
yeah.
you know, and things like that. We have that. And it is leadership that can
correct that.
Correct that.
You're very right, Sam.
Document.
You're right, but you say
that's why I give an example of Lee Kuan Yew.
Yes.
You know, in Singapore, you have different ethnic groups. You have Indians, you have Malays, you have Chinese. When Deng Xiaoping wanted to visit Singapore, he was preparing to
meet the
appeal to the Chinese
in Singapore. To his shock.
When he got there, the Chinese didn't think much of him because they saw themselves as
Singaporeans
are not
Chinese anymore.
That was because of the kind of leadership, the inclusiveness that he brought into it. In Nigeria, the problem is that the individual ethnic groups think that they are at war
with the other people. Yes.
They are at war with Nigeria. And that Nigeria does not do them well. Yeah. Where is that Nigeria?
Exactly.
It's one abstract, unseen thing.
Frail.
Yeah. I remember Zebudaya did a skit some time ago when he was attacking tribalism. Turned it into some kind of monster
Yeah.
and started
Hitting it
and talking to it and so on. So that is how they see Nigeria. The point is that Nigeria should not make any ethnic group feel
that
they do not belong to it. So that is the tension we are in now. Or religion. I said the other day, I said, when is it that
religion
any election in Nigeria has been determined by bread and butter?
Yeah.
I don't know of any election. We talk all the day. We want to do infrastructure. We want to do roads. We want to do.
The one election.
We want to do everything. But at the final analysis,
right.
Even if you are hungry, you are going to vote for the man who will make you more hungry. But you are happy that is the man that I can identify with, not because of hunger, because you feel that you are not connected to it. Okay. And even in the Western society, as Faris Zakaria showed in his latest book, The Age of Revolutions, he said they are getting, elections and the societies are getting into post-material, into post-materialist phase, in which people are not voting for bread and butter, they are voting
for values.
And
identity.
Are you for gun control? Are you white or are you black? Are you this? That's why that's what's the
well, for them that's a retrogression though. Whatever
absolutely.
you say.
That's a retrogression.
That's a retrogression.
That's a retrogression. That's tribalism.
Yes.
Is that Nigeria?
No, they are getting into trouble.
Right.
We've contaminated them.
Yes, we are looking for the right values. They have transcended the right values. They are going for the wrong values. The right values have brought them prosperity, and they are taking the prosperity
to the point of leadership. How much is very right. Yeah. Leadership creates this. Okay. One of the errors that Nigerian leadership has committed, or the flaws, or what it has not been able to achieve, is to instill the difference between nationalism and citizenship with people. We've confused those two notions. Very similar, but there's a subtle but important difference between the nationalism and the citizenship of a person. That is on one side. But I believe, again, the Constitution can correct that. If the Constitution is mindful of it, because these are the errors that we've seen as we started from. We know that our leaders have made this mistake. Our people are making this mistake. Right. We can reset and correct them. And
the group, the Patriots, met with the president recently. Yes. What were your takeaways from that meeting?
Well, I mean, two things. Number one is the president, in his own words, this is a group I cannot ignore. I was almost laughing inside there. I wrote somewhere because the Patriots cheekily lined up a list of people who knew the president in the trenches. There was more of a reunion. And I saw the president as well looking at this thing, knowing that this is his story. He could have been one of us visiting another president, very easily. He acknowledged it, but the president, with all respect, is a bit of a rascal himself. So what he did, he said, yes, I get this thing, but listen, I've got this economic thing to deal with right now. Yes. As if to say, if not for this economic thing, I will sign it straight away. But, give me time, let me deal with bread and butter. So I just laughed. And I said to him, I saw what you did there. He said, I'm the president. So he said, I've got urgent matter to do. So my takeaway was that he gets it. But the Patriots being the kind of group where we've started, some people said, from the roof. The president is, the number one citizen. Since we've had access to him, and I want to thank him for graciously accepting to see us, we started from him, but the Patriots are pushing on. We've told the president what we'd like him to do, push a bill. We're going to see the legislators who are mandated to make this law. We're going to be talking to people, and I thank you for this invitation. We start by convincing the like of Samuel Meche, who are difficult to convince because they quote 10 authors in one sentence. And then we speak to normal people who have not read as much as him to understand. And I thank you very much. And we'll continue engaging this way because we need to inform people, engage them, and above all, listen to everybody so that the Constitution we're going to get will be a true Constitution.
The president is not alone in his assertion that he has the economy, an ailing economy to fix. Many Nigerians identify with that. I wonder how that sits with you.
I think if you are sitting on his chair, you will understand when people are saying a big pami and people are saying the price of things are up and marketers are sneaking our fuel across the borders and going everywhere.
And right in the flow.
The customs people are taking bribes and all of them and getting things out and in the north some people are complaining that Boko Haram is not completely dead, and there's some kidnapping, although that seems to be tamping down in recent times. And when you have that and people say, let us do the laws, we'll tell you, well, we like the laws, but, it's like saying that, okay, Daddy, I want a new shirt and so on. Well, I think I want to stock the kitchen first before you buy that shirt. That kind of thing. That shirt will be very nice to you. You look very well, and so on. The world will like you, and you can go on a fine date if you have that shirt. But let us get bread and butter on the table and the basic things of life. I think that is where it's coming from. The other issue about the Constitution is also is quintessentially Nigerian. And also it has to do with political behavior. How do you get the process to create a constitution when we have one in place? How do you get all these lawmakers across the federation to append their signatures to a new document? How do you select those who will represent the various constituencies? We had one in Jonathan's time, and it was contentious. It was actually a charade. It was a ceremony. It was more of a play. Substance or substantial issues were discussed, and so on and so forth. That is true. But that is another document that is already in the Museum of Innocence. So that is what I mean by the Nigerian factor. That do you think these lawmakers are, as we have them, are ready for that kind of grind, or they are more interested in getting along with their daily lives and collecting 20 million naira every month? And
they say it's not 20. Be careful what you say.
It's more than 8, Abi.
No. These people are my friends, and I'm going to see them soon. So let's not.
Right. And Prof also spoke about ongoing, moves regarding this document, the Constitution. I mean, what do you make about the present, the constitutional amendment cycles that we see in, every assembly? And of course, there is one before the present crop of federal lawmakers. Are these against what the Patriots are proffering?
Let me quickly say that Sam makes a very serious point, although jokingly. That's a huge problem that is highlighted there, and we must acknowledge it. The current endeavors of the legislative members of our government, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good thing, and it is not against what the Patriots are doing. The thinking of the Patriots, which I embrace fully, is that no matter how much you amend a flawed and false constitution, you're still on the surface. This is 2024. This is the era of digital age and global age. It's not an era of gradual reform anymore. It's an era of radical and intense intervention in anything you do. You have to really change it. So what they're doing is good. State policing, local government autonomy, all those things coming out are good things. But you see, those are chapters in a book, since we have a writer here. He would like that. Those are chapters in a book. It's one by one. The main thing is the book itself, is the content, or what goes inside. Those are ingredients that will make a good stew. So yes to all those things, but let us look at the Constitution itself. Now, the challenge of, is it possible? How are we going to do it? Rather than be scared about that, let us take this as a generational challenge. That's the whole point of, and I'm getting romantic here, but I'm also pragmatic about it. Let us, beyond all odds, let us do what a lot of people think might not be doable. We are, because the Patriots are new friends. We're getting a lot of people coming in now since we've started, politicians, non-politicians, academics, and I thank my colleagues a lot, academics who have been sending us their input to the different parts possible. Let us beat what people think is not beatable. Let us cross the hurdle that people think cannot be crossed. All these problems, because we have intelligent, dedicated, and informed people, we should look at each issue. Since we agree that the destination of the project is a good thing, the only problem we tend to spend time on is how do we do it. then we'll talk about how we do it and we'll get there.
Right. And, you know, earlier in the year, the Patriots, you know, at an event in honor of the late Professor Ben Nwabueze.
Yes, the former leader.
The governor of Lagos State, Governor Sanwo-Olu, was quoted as saying he has now been converted, so to speak, into this call for a new constitution. He too was questioning why all powers, so to speak, have to rest at the center in Abuja.
He's a smart governor.
Right.
So go ahead.
What does that tell us? Because that is also, you know, some of the issues raised, you know, by the Patriots. This issue of, can our governors be more assertive? Can the law, the constitution as it stands now, can it empower the states to, you know, cater for themselves, to be stronger than the Patriots?
It's very interesting. Before I go to that, I go to the Bible again. You know, in the Garden of Eden, there was only one law.
Yeah.
And they couldn't keep it.
Keep that one.
Only one law.
And look at where that's led. That's what
has
led us.
Look at where we are.
That's where led us.
So it's not about the law, it's about
if I catch this one there.
Only one law, and they couldn't keep it. Don't eat that fruit. And when you say don't eat that fruit, that is that fruit that you want to eat.
That's the one that came out to be tempted.
Right. So that's the thing. So the thing is not, it's not just that we cannot have a new document. The point, as I've said, is that let us look at what are these basic issues that are wrong with this constitution. One of which is the issue of a true federal constitution. And I was just looking at this issue of the decision made by the Supreme Court on local government. Autonomy. The governors fought against it. They went to court. There are so many things I know I cannot say on TV that the governors did to stop it. But it failed. But I wrote too that even though you've given autonomy to local government,
those people with this type of...
The governors have what is that Harvard professor? He called it Inye, Nye. Joseph Nye. He called it soft power. Okay. A governor, somebody told me about one state that is about to do local government elections. And they said the governor has already picked all the chairmen and given them money to go to primaries. So how dare you challenge him? Even
with the Supreme Court decision.
He's not touching it.
Right.
I want me to see, but my hand is not there. I'm not there. You people just go. I don't know anything. I don't know book. You guys go and do the primaries and go and challenge that man whether you can match my candidate for local government. So he has soft power to put whoever he wants there. But the good thing is that he will no longer be in a position to say, it is 10 naira I want to give local government. A is the one who there. So when you sit there, you only have to use soft power to say, bring it to me. Bring it to, please, we want to do this, want to do this. If you're resisting, next time we'll know what to do with you. When we go for another election. You get what I'm saying? So there's power, but there's also progress. Yes. Because you know that the local government man knows that he has no immunity. Yes. The governor has immunity. So the governor man will say, look, this thing, we can't do it more than this. So I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. We have to be careful how we handle the finances. That is how to make progress. That's why I disagree with you when you say this is time for radical change. There's no time in this world where radical change has given us anything. All the revolutions that we know in history have destroyed everything. And people have to start again from the start.
Is that including?
And then, including the elite and the elite. Is that
including the Industrial Revolution?
Industrial Revolution was a gradual revolution. Yeah. That's not radical. That took place over 100 years.
Sam.
Industrial Revolution over 100 years.
Email, the invention of Polaroid camera.
Those things came gradually.
Instant coffee.
Those things came
changed the world instantly. The fact that you can send a document on WhatsApp today.
That's technology.
It took time. It's a revolution.
Technology, but
radical.
Gradually.
Right.
The technology that gave us email. Yeah. The email came around the 1980s and so on. The revolution that gave us the email started in the 1950s.
But it was not called email. The day the email started, the day it became something that you can use, that's the way the world... Let me tell you the
Yes,
day.
yes,
You know the way the day the world changed? Actually, the world we have today, that is instant, digital, and does not have time, started with Polaroid camera.
Yes.
We just don't see it. You're right, it's gathered about that impact. What I'm saying is that...
Yeah, the impact can become
massive.
Yes. But the world will be ready. The world will be ready for.
But everything is everything is gathered. Even the tie you're wearing did not become this overnight.
Exactly. But it's different from political revolutions.
No, I'm not too old to be a revolutionary.
I wanted to even take you up on the radical. I wanted to even take you up on the radical revolution that Sam was talking about. Like the Patriots are not towing that line, are they?
Right. Look at each line one by one. And they question you, they say, hang on a second, did you say we?
I forgot what you said.
Did you
come in through the front door?
They just take it. No, the Patriots are very calm, very reformist people. I wrote about them that they remind me of the old Fabian society that decided that the way to do things is not to push, but to gradually keep going there every day, keep reminding people. So
that's why the British society
is
the best organized society.
But you see, the example...
They never had a revolution.
No. It was gradual. Everything was
gradual.
Except when they kill a king.
Yes.
But you see, this...
They learned from that.
Yes, this image you gave of this local government thing makes the Patriots point better than any other point. And I want viewers to think about it. That it tells you that at any given time, especially young people, don't be afraid. Ultimately, ideas trump interests. Ultimately, ideas will always win. It might take time, and here there's an old man from experience talking. That's not me, Samuel Machayami. He knows how the thing goes. I thought so as well. He knows how it goes, but ultimately ideas win. So the people who think, oh, they've done this, I'm a governor, I'm going to bypass it this way, they're men of today with no understanding of tomorrow. The person you put there has experience to cheat them, you don't know what might happen. So let us focus on ideas and not be afraid of interest. But
I'm happy you said ideas, not interest win.
Yes.
But must be ideas of sentiment.
Oh.
Because just as you say, I'm quoting authors again.
Yeah.
Oscar Wilde said, in sentiments are more important than reason.
Than reason.
Man is more pushed by sentiment than reason.
Passion.
Yes. Passion, yes.
Passion.
Yes.
All right. Well, gentlemen, perhaps we'll just spare about 30 seconds each now. What next? With all that you have said, what's the next thing for the Patriots?
Well, the next thing is we're going to move on with advocacy committee to reach out to various stakeholders. People in government, people outside government, traders, students, traditional groups. We're going to be talking to all Nigerians and making the case to see that the new constitution is good for Nigeria, and we'll welcome everybody's input, idea, and time.
Right. But do we have to consider all the past documents that, as you both have said, are gathering dust?
Oh, no. We're going to recognize them and appreciate them and use them. The whole idea. We're not starting from zero. What we're going to do is recognize, understand, summarize what we have, and improve it to get something better.
Sam?
Well, I think that I wish the Patriots well. I wish Nigeria's patriotism better. and I believe that whether we have a constitution or not, what we need is to circumcise the foreskins of our hearts. If we do that, then whether we have a document or not, it doesn't matter. Let us not look as though we are running towards a document. Let the document run towards us.
Right. Always a pleasure having you both, and for the very first time, having you both on the same set. In the same.
Not the first time.
Well, for me,
with you,
on the subject as burning as this issue of new constitution, new mindset, and all of that. Thanks a lot, Professor Anthony Kila and Sam Omashe. We appreciate your time with us.
Thank God it didn't kill me.
I will left your stage intact.
Okay, and left it intact. Very, very, very key. All right, still on the program, we went out to the streets as usual to ask Nigerians. Okay, you could say it's a basic question. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Please stay with us. It's still TVC Breakfast.
There is always more to a story than the scribbling line. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles the rat was